Hello, my friends. This is Heather. Welcome to another Celebrity Coach Chat. And I have to say, I have so much fun talking to so many amazing people. And this week, I'm talking to Karen Aydt from Inner Design International. So interesting, such an interesting life, and so interesting on how she helps people understand themselves and others so that life can just be that much better. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care. I'll see you soon. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. We are going. Okay, so hello, all my friends. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me, aka Back to You podcast. And this is my celebrity chat because I love all my celebrity friends and I love that they come and chat with me. And we're super excited. Well, I am super excited because today I get to talk to the one, the only Karen Aydt from Did I say that right?
No.
No, I didn't think so. How do I say it?
Aydt rhymes with
Light.
light.
Aydt.
Aydt rhymes with light, like Aydt.
Light. That's a good way to remember. You know, I've been saying your name wrong for so long.
I didn't
But
know. I would have told you.
Inner Design International, which people will go, what is that? But first, so my friend Karen, because I love the story of how knowing, well, I guess, where should we start? Should we start with what it exactly it is? Tell us exactly what it is, this inner design thing. And then I want your story.
I'm going to tell you what it is by telling you my story.
Okay, even better.
I was a complete mystery to myself in my 20s and 30s and 40s. I didn't know who I was. I thought I did. So I was an assistant in a financial planning company. Nothing wrong with that. And then a True Colors personality trainer came in and gave us a full day workshop. And I went, oh,
I didn't know it came through actually doing it. Oh, so
yes,
cool.
Yes, 20 years ago. So I went, do you mean there's actually a type of person that is a little bit louder, has lots of energy, a natural negotiator, wants to be on stage, changes their mind quickly and can navigate 3, 4, 5, 6 things at one time? There's actually a person like that. And that's who I am. I'm an orange. And that just means that my dominant personality type of the 4 personality types, which we all have all 4 within us, my dominant type is this outgoing, high energy, active, action-oriented person. So with that knowledge, my confidence went through the roof, and I left my job, became a realtor, built a team, sold to hundreds of people.
Skip over all that stuff, whatever. But no, I'm not telling you to skip over it. You were like, yeah, then I did this thing.
So that gave me the confidence to do it, is knowing myself.
But that's so amazing, right? I know, like, when you're in your 20s, sometimes even beyond, sometimes you never can figure out who you are, right?
A lot of people.
And if you work somewhere corporate, it is quite common to go through these, like the Myers-Briggs, and I don't remember. I'm sure that I did colors at some point, but sometimes it'll twig you at the right time where you have that, like, the light of Karen Aydt go on in your brain, and suddenly you can go, oh my God, I don't have to be this thing, right? I don't have to be this unhappy person. So, but how long did you do the real estate thing? I don't remember.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And because you were finally knew your jam.
Yeah. My jam keeps getting better and better as I follow me being me.
Right. I love the, I always tell people, I have a friend who's a rock star.
Yeah. I would never have gotten on a stage if I hadn't have discovered that it's okay to be that kind of a person. And I wasn't living a life like that. So I changed it all one step
So
at a
did
time.
you change it right away? Like as soon as you found out your color, you quit your job and left?
Yeah, I did that very quickly, but it was a process to figure out what this means to be me and to allow myself to be me. I grew up being told I was adopted by my siblings and my mom, and I wasn't, and my dad, and I wasn't adopted. I was just different. They all knew I was different, but they didn't know why or how. Now they get it. Now they
Where did
got
this
my
girl come from?
Yeah.
So I guess what kind of process did you have to go through to decide? Because once you know, like, I mean, this happens so often where you have a new piece of information and you're like, what do I do with it?
I'll tell you what it meant. It meant I no longer ignored my little voice inside of me that said, it's okay to sing. It's okay to be you. It's okay if you're a little louder. It's okay if you have more energy. It's okay if you want to be an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. You can be, do, and have whatever you want when you follow this guiding system, which I wasn't following. I was ignoring that voice.
Right. And because I know a lot of people do that. So I'm thinking about how to describe what it feels like to be in the wrong spot. Right. So you can recognize it. Because, I mean, one of my podcast this week was or earlier, I think it's episode 21 or 22, was the first step is being aware of what's going on, because some people don't they're like, they think it's just life. Oh, this is just life. So when you become aware of it, then the next step is like, what are you going to do with it? And I see a lot of people when they're asking for coaching, they are often, they'll put into their comments, I don't know. There's something, but I don't know what to do. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to choose. Did you go through a process to figure out how to decide what to do, or
Oh, yeah.
did you? I was like, or did you just like jump in with both feet into whatever came up?
Well, and that is my personality type, to jump in. I am a jump in-er. We are the doers, this particular personality type that is my dominant, versus those that need to process and think and check, dot their I's and cross their T's. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I do just jump in. But it was still a process of giving myself permission to be me, trusting myself, which I didn't trust myself for all those years before. How can you trust something that doesn't feel quite right and you're not following your real inner guidance system, you know?
Right.
So learning to trust myself, believe in myself.
And that's a process too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's so common that people, you see imposter syndrome, or
Yeah.
the I'm not good enough syndrome, or
Yeah.
this is what almost like this is what I deserve syndrome. I don't
Well,
know where that comes from, but
and me, I deserve to follow my true self. I deserve to be my authentic self. I had to figure out what that was and what that looked like.
and then so you figure that out, and you like found this path that's like super fulfilling and super aligned with you, and
Yeah.
and you really are a rock star now. I mean, it's like, we use it kind of like, oh, you're a rock star, but no, you really are a rock star.
Well, and let me, to answer an earlier question, I think that's the perfect way. It's just an example, but when I'm on a stage with a microphone in my hand and there's a band behind me, I am so alive and so me, like Lady Gaga says, I was born to be on that stage, and I know it. And
Right.
I knew it as a little girl, but ignored it for decades and decades. And I think that's how you feel when you're following your true self. You feel that home feeling.
Right. And I guess if people have never experienced it, it sounds like something, I don't know, impossible or a fantasy, but it's not. Let me tell you, like you'll find people, not just my friend Karen, you'll find people who will tell you. I guess sometimes it's kind of like you're in the flow, you're in your zone, you're like whatever. But and there's more than one the personality type. So maybe we can, because to give people an idea of
Yes.
what they are, right? So
Yes.
because you and I talked about this the other day and had a good old laugh about it.
Yes.
So give us some, like, maybe a general overview or what,
Okay.
however you usually describe them.
Okay. So the orange is the doer. That's me. The orange's greatest stressor is too many rules and structures, because oranges love and need independence and freedom. They're the kids that can't sit still on their chair, for example. The golds, who are quite opposite of orange, which is fine. The golds are the organized people, managers often. They're the backbone of your organization. They look after dotting the I's and crossing the T's. They are very, very, very valuable people that deserve to be appreciated completely. Their greatest stressor is people that don't follow structures and rules. So you can see
Oranges.
right. You can see why oranges and golds get into disagreements, but when they understand each other's values, and reframe those negatives to positives. My sister's a high gold. I'm a high orange. We totally get each other now, but for years and years, we didn't understand each other at all.
Right.
And there's the blue relationship person, which I also have a lot of that within me, as we all have some. And the blue relationship person is just very caring and compassionate, and they want to connect. And, they share their feelings on their sleeve openly expressing. And they don't mind small talk. Their greatest stressor is disharmony in relationships.
Right.
They are often married or working with greens. Greens are a blue's opposite. And a green is an analytical person. They're a visionary. They're very bright. They thrive on knowledge. And they love to research and make sure something's perfect before they take action on it. So they make decisions from their head, whereas the blue makes decisions from their heart. And this green, back to the green that makes decisions from their head, their greatest stressors, incompetence. So, but we all have all four types within us. We all can get along and have successful relationships. We just need to understand how different people are innately hardwired differently than we are.
Right. It's funny because I remember the first time we met and you were talking about the colors. I kept thinking about, well, I just don't look good in that color. And it was more, and I know that it's just a way to kind of find a way to define a personality, but my brain just immediately went to can I just be a purple? Which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can be anything you want, Heather.
Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
And it's, I guess, one of the things that it would be interesting. So one thing that I find is super useful is once like diving into a little bit of like what that would mean for you. For the person who says, "Oh my God, I think I'm in the wrong spot." Like, get your colors done. Colors. Remember back in the 80s when getting your colors done was like what color you looked good in?
I do.
Oh my God, the 80s. Oh my gosh. But, I guess part of the process is figuring out what that person, like knowing, yes, that is me. That is me. That is me. And do you remember in high school when you had to take those tests to see what you would be good at?
Not really, but sorry.
That was what I had to do in high school. It's like you had to take a test to give you a recommendation for a career.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was ridiculous.
Yes.
And it told me that I should be a lab technician.
Okay.
Now, you and I have talked, I haven't taken the official test yet, but you and I have talked a little bit. Maybe it does make sense why they said that, doesn't it?
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
At the time, I thought I wanted to be an airline attendant.
Okay. Yes. I can see that side of you as well, though, right? It may not be your dominant side, but I can see that side too.
But it is interesting. So you find like you use this a lot in organizations to help them navigate. I guess what would you call it?
Navigate people, enhance,
Navigate the
align with culture.
relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and so that the company operates smoothly. I guess I can remember when I was in corporate, I was always, because I worked in the accounting department, I was always fighting with the sales department,
Yes.
always.
Yes.
And there didn't seem to be any way to resolve it
No.
because they thought I was being ridiculous and I thought they were being ridiculous.
Exactly. Exactly. That's such a good example of an orange and a gold situation.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess what do you do? How do you help them? Or do you just educate them, or is there exercises or
Good question. So the tool itself is a self-assessment tool. So I don't determine anyone's personality. You determine that on your own through this assessment tool. But then we go into a workshop where we go into breakout rooms and we clarify and validate, is that truly your dominant personality? And it's the funnest experience because the blues are all in a breakout room together and the greens are over here. And then somebody will say, Karen, I don't think I'm in the right breakout room, and we'll talk about it and I'll switch them. And at the end, everyone just feels at home. And sometimes for the first time in their lives with people just like you. And they come out and they do a reporting out process where one group will tell us what their greatest need is as this group of people, what their greatest stressor is, what are their greatest joys, what do they need from the other people in the organization. And everyone else's eyes just get as big as saucers because there's an entire group of gold saying, this is how we are. You know, we are a little more serious, or we do look after your best interest all the time. We work tirelessly for you, but we do need to be appreciated to make it worth our while. And everybody's like, whoa, okay. So I love golds. They are the backbone of the organization. Without them, I would be lost.
right?
Because it's my third color. So but it's very eye-opening for everyone.
And I guess like any size organization will you'll have as many colors as there are people in your organization. Do you ever find that you have people who end up answering what they wish they were?
Yes. Well, and or they think they are. They don't
Right.
understand. They haven't figured it out yet. Sometimes it takes more than one attempt for someone to sort it out in their life and in their mind that they're actually a green, like women, for example, to be lab technicians or inventors or scientists or doctors were often in the 80s told, no, 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 that's not
Right.
for you. But that's who they really were. And that feeling never goes away. But it just takes a while to uncover it sometimes.
Right. Because I think it's like funny. I sometimes when I catch myself, I try to catch myself when I'm doing these things. It's like, well, being an orange sounds like it would be way more fun. I think I would want to be that person. But then I have to give myself a pause and go, am I that person?
People drink to become orange often.
Right. You could invent a drink around that. Become the personality color of your choice. Here's
Yes.
your beverage display.
Well, and with the workshop and with the training, you work the muscles of those other less dominant personality types.
Ah,
But they're there. And now that you know they're there, you can work the muscle to be stronger in that area. I, as a businesswoman, I can't just be orange and blue and just love everybody and be excited and create fun. I have to be organized and professional and do my research and bring my facts to the table.
and
So,
also know who you need to help you, right?
yes,
That's
yes.
something we were talking about the other day. So even solopreneurs, I
Mhm.
mean, they tend to do everything themselves, but they probably shouldn't be. And I will say that fully because I tend to do everything myself. I took a course on determining your core values And there was a huge list of core values. My number one is self-reliance.
Mm.
But that's not necessarily the best thing for my business, right?
Right.
And when you hire someone, like I don't think an orange should hire another orange
Correct.
if they work for themselves.
Correct. All they would do is play and get nothing done.
And then they'd go bankrupt.
And then they go bankrupt and the taxes wouldn't get paid and deadlines wouldn't get met.
So do you do work with like smaller businesses to help them determine like the best fit for this?
I do. So I'm also a hiring consultant, not just a workshop facilitator. And I have a client in BC right now, as a matter of fact. He wanted to hire someone not like him. He tried it on his own and hired someone just like him, and then she quit. So he said, okay, Karen, you're right. Let's look at this your way. So he told me what he needed. We did a group interview with 20 people that fit that description. Everyone did an assessment. And long story short, he's got the perfect person in position now that is his opposite, but is going to do exactly what he isn't good at or doesn't want to, so that he can free himself to be the visionary, to be the leader, to be who he's working his sweet spot. Let somebody else work in their sweet spot.
And if you like, I can see where that would be like super helpful for a business to have the balance of personalities. But then there has to be, I guess, an awareness of they are different than you. So you might drive each other a little bit crazy if you're not paying attention, right?
I'll give you a quick example about my operations manager, Austin, is a high green. Green is my lowest color. I'm a high orange. Orange is his lowest color. That's what's called a 100-mile walk, you know? And, but because of this work, we understand each other and accept each other so well, and we compromise. I don't change the plan too suddenly on him because he'll just go, you know, and he needs time to make decisions and to create processes. Whereas I work very quickly. He might create a beautiful proposal and say, what do you think? Let's read it over again. And I'll just reach over and push the send button. That's what and he's like, but that's how we work together now.
Right.
You know, and he doesn't mind because he knows it's good enough. But greens want things to be perfect, and oranges just want to get it done sometimes.
Right. Did you ever have anybody who's like half orange and half green? That would be a strange combination.
Oh yeah, and they're wonderful because they're very intelligent and also in action at the same time.
Are they a procrastinating perfectionist?
No.
Oh, too bad.
They're a smart, get things done person. Often business owners are green, orange.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very cool.
They're the vision and the salesperson.
So because I know at one point you had workshops going on for peoples.
Yes. Open public workshops.
Right. Are you still doing that? You're still doing those?
I don't have one scheduled at the moment, but if there's enough demand, I'm happy to do one. Or if there's a group that wants one, they just need to call me and we'll work out the details and make it happen for them.
That's very cool. Because I was also thinking, like, think of families. Like you mentioned your family, right?
Yes. My sons were first introduced to true colors at the age of 15 and 12. They're very opposite, and one is very opposite of me. And I'm a high blue, very soft, caring person, and blue is both of their third color. So I love working with families. I've worked with a lot of families where the mom and the dad are the opposite of a child. And they don't understand these differences, and I just make sense of it all for them. There's a child's coloring book to figure out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I had no idea it was so like multi-dimensional, multi-layered.
Oh yes.
Help anybody.
Oh yes. And True Colors has been around for 50 years. Don Lowry, the creator, is a personal friend of mine. We spoke on the phone yesterday. He's now almost 80.
Wow.
And he's worked with Ford, Google, Disney using this methodology. Yeah.
So it's not like something that just appeared on the horizon.
No.
It's been tested out.
Yes.
Because like I said, like because I was in corporate for 15 years, we did the gamut of things.
Yes.
I probably did colors, but I just don't remember because
Mhm.
it was a while ago. The one that stuck in my head was Myers-Briggs was the one that I took. I think that one stuck the most because that was the first one I ever took.
Yes.
I was in my 20s, late 20s, and it was one of those like, really?
Well, Myers-Briggs, which came out in the 50s,
Hmm.
at the time of the Second World War, this mother-daughter team, it has stood the test of time, but and many people know it. But the difference I want to point out between many of the others, including Myers-Briggs and True Colors, is Don Lowry created True Colors based on Myers-Briggs and David Kiersey's work. He wanted something much simpler, much
Right.
more user-friendly and fun that goes as deeper, but you don't forget. When people leave my workshops, they have immediate results. They go
Right.
home and immediately put it into action and application. And so, yeah, I love how fun and simple it is.
I love real life. There's construction going on. Yeah.
Yes,
I just call it real life.
yes,
Real life is happening, and that's a good thing.
yes, yes.
And it's interesting because I think you're right. I think it's simpler. I think it's more accessible. And because when you think about some of the other ones, it's all information. Everything is just information. It's
Yes.
how you use it. But it seems like this is more applicable on so many, it's easier to apply to so many other situations.
With every relationship in your life, I promise you will never, ever look at people the same way again.
Right.
And I had a discussion about DISC yesterday, which is another methodology, and I'm starting to
Done
realize,
that one.
yes, I'm starting to realize that people feel pigeonholed and really analyzed, and True Colors is not like that. It just is all about accepting people where they're at, making them right for being who they are, and that we have all of these 4 types within us, and just knowing which one's first and second, because the second one plays a bigger role in your life than your first one even does.
Why?
Because, how do I say this? So I'm an orange blue, but blue, my soft, caring, nurturing, connecting, communicating side is huge. It comes through in everything I do.
Because you're an orange, you live your blue really loud.
Yes, because I'm an orange, my blue's a little rough around the edges. A high blue would say that. A high blue that's really super caring and kind and generous would go like, Karen, come on back here. Don't forget others. I'm like, oh yeah, let me get off this motorcycle and come and, yeah. But it's part of my everyday.
And I guess, because we were talking about families, and I can just remember, like, I wouldn't ever think of using DISC to figure out how to communicate with, family members who I might disagree with, or a Myers-Briggs to communicate. I wouldn't, maybe it's not simplified enough, or maybe it's the way it's framed. I wouldn't walk into a family function and go, oh, right, Uncle Bob is this.
MJ something, right?
Yeah.
And it's important that when someone does any of these programs, they don't start analyzing the people in their family, which is what you're tempted to do. But I always tell people, don't do that. Nobody's going to appreciate it. But when families come together to do the assessment, and the little children are doing a coloring book and the adults are doing the full assessment or whatever, it just gives everyone permission to be themselves. And it just gives everyone the tools to get along and drop the judgments, which is what we as humans do.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We judge that.
We're kind of hardwired for it, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to change that hardwiring completely. It doesn't have to be that way. This program is part of the Nelson, BC school curriculum.
Really?
It is.
Is that the only school that's using it?
That I know of, that it's part of the curriculum, yeah.
And is that to help the teachers or the parents or everybody? And
All of the above.
do the teachers take it too?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And the students, yes.
They should get the parents to take it.
Oh, yes. Well, right? Because, for example, a university student, let's not even talk about a young one. Let's talk about a university student that knows the personality of their teacher. Do you know how much easier it is to get to impress somebody, whether you're selling or buying or learning or asking your kid to fill the dishwasher when you speak to them in their language so that trust and rapport can be built?
I just had a flashback to university.
Yeah. I bet.
If I had known my economics professor what his deal was, I might not have thought he was such a jerk.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And vice versa, probably, possibly.
Oh, I was a very good obedient student. I just sat there quietly judging him.
Nice.
So you're in university, you're an adult technically, and you had to ask him if you could go to the washroom. And I just thought, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just sat quietly judging him.
Yeah.
And made sure I didn't drink anything before class.
Yes. That's funny. That's funny. There are those that thrive on control. There are those that thrive on order. There are
Is that
those
gold?
that thrive on, yes, and green's close in there as well. There are those that thrive on perfectionism. There are those that thrive on harmony in relationships. There are those that thrive on fun. So you can imagine how they don't get along because they don't understand, like, when are you going to take this seriously is what I would get asked.
Right.
Right? When are you going to be more serious?
And the answer would be never.
Right? I don't know.
Next week.
Right, next
week.
I'll put on a different hat.
Then do you put on workshops for families? Like, it sounds like you've done all different.
I do.
It's almost like family counseling.
Well, in a way it is, because I worked with a mother and son and these two darling little girls, but the little girls were the easy part. Once the mother and son sat together and we realized one was gold and one was orange, and the gold was making the orange wrong for always wanting to play and not following the rules. And the orange was making the gold wrong for having too many rules. And once they saw this between a mom and a son, all that not getting along melted away, and you could just see the re-engagement and them connecting and coming together and saying, love you, sorry, like, let's do better. And it's beautiful.
And I can see so many teenager relationships, parent teenagers, because that's when they start to try and establish who they are, right? Yeah. I mean, toddlers start to learn the word no, but I just think that's when it comes out almost the loudest, because
there's no reason for these parents and teenagers. There's normal parent teenager angst, but so much of it could be dissolved by just this level of understanding, so that a parent can just allow that teenager to be different,
right?
Be themselves, think differently, analyze differently, learn differently, retain differently, have different dreams and desires and hopes, to be a teacher or to be a nurse or to be a scientist.
To be a rock star.
Which was my dream.
And you didn't do that first. You did that almost last. It's not last, because there's still things to do, but
I didn't do it for 45 years. I didn't even know it was always back there. And that's the thing. These dreams never go away. Right. It's always tugging on you. When are you going to give yourself permission to be completely yourself?
And you do have to, I mean, that's when I do my 6-week program to help people, get themselves this is almost like, this should be part of the program, I think. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because part of it is like, there's all these aspects to your life, and sometimes it's one thing that's causing problems, sometimes it's another.
Yeah.
And knowing that maybe some of the things that are feeling like that part of your life isn't working right. Like if your professional life isn't working right, maybe it's not a promotion that you need. Maybe you're just in totally the wrong job.
So many people are.
Right? I was.
Maybe you don't know how to connect to the rest of your team. Maybe you don't know how to sell to all the different types of buyers out there.
Right.
Because there's different buying styles depending on what they need.
And I had two thoughts that just flew through my brain. So the first one was that one about it's hard to figure out your best life if you don't know what you don't know about yourself. But one of the weeks that in that 6 weeks is we talked about responsibility, and that you are the only person who's going to make your decision for you, right? You have to be the one to step up for yourself and say, this is what I want, and I'm going to make it happen, because no one's going to do it for you. Some people find that like, well, then it's not going to happen. Like they won't do it for themselves, but maybe it's because they don't know which way to go.
Yeah. No one knows what's right for you but you. And it's a process. It's part of life, to not know. And I think that's why we're here, is to figure that out.
Right.
Who am I? Where is my sweet spot? What is my superpower? Are you laughing at my construction, Heather?
I am, because I thought I heard somebody yell.
We did.
As long as you're okay.
I'm good.
Okay. But it is true. Some people are afraid of, if you take responsibility for yourself, what if you make a mistake?
Yeah.
But as my coach says, there's no mistakes. There's only information, right? And I've heard it from multiple places. And it's like we understand it intellectually, but you have to understand it like internally as a truth.
Oranges are risk takers, but we all have orange within us to some degree. So what if you learned who you are and what you want, and then worked that orange muscle and built up, the bravery to just throw your hat over the wall, not knowing where it's going to land, and just trusted yourself, right?
And then it'll be okay.
And that everything will be okay.
I know some people are afraid, what will so-and-so think? What will my family think?
Yes.
When I left the corporate world, wow.
Yes. Good
total chaos
for you.
Unfurled. And funny, it wasn't my family. It was my friends one of my friends was going to have me committed.
Yeah.
To CAMH. Took me out for lunch, fully intending to drive me down to CAMH. And if you're not in Ontario and you don't know what that is, that's the mental health facility. But yeah, and my family, maybe because I'm the oldest and because they'd known me for a long time, they went, oh, okay.
Not me. My family, they were going to come and save me. They had no idea what I was doing.
Wow. Right?
Yeah.
We had very different parents.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So interesting. And parents can have such a huge influence on how you feel about yourself, where you go in life.
Yes.
I mean, they're the first section of your life. And then after that, it's your friends, right? Can you be you in your circle of friends?
Yes.
That's a tough one too, especially I'm thinking of teenagers again. That's a tough one. But if you are given that permission, if you give yourself permission, and I was talking to Rod McDonald recently on the celebrity chat, and giving yourself permission is such a big deal, right? And knowing that you won't die.
And sometimes you need help to figure out what that is you're going, where it is you want to go. And it's to reach out and get that help and learn from others that know something you don't know. Because, that's why you and I do what we do, because we know something and we want to share it with the world and help them reach their dreams and their potential.
Good way to bring it back around.
it's true, right?
It is true. I mean,
Yes.
we do it in different ways, but we both are trying to help people,
Yes.
like, be who you need to be inside of you, like bring it out of you. And
And
if
they
you
don't
need
have
us to give you permission, we'll totally give you permission to do it.
yeah, right. And they don't have to wait as long as I waited
Right.
to get on my stage. My stage. Everybody has a stage. What does it look like? You know, it might be a stage as a teacher, or a stage as a scientist, or a stage as a hairdresser, but it's what your dream is.
And there is no, like, just when you, because I heard my little inner judgy voice go, hairdresser. But oh my God, no, seriously, I love my hairdresser and I would never judge her for being a hairdresser.
No, because everybody has a different dream.
And they're all valid.
And we tend to compare ourselves to everybody else. And when we stop comparing, that's where the permission comes from, right? Is to just be you.
Yeah. And that's such a gift when you can find that place, right?
Yes.
And it can be, depending on your personality, it can be a scary place, which is why part of, like, even my program, I'm like, who is in your corner with you? Like, who's supporting you?
Let me tell you how that scariness gets broken down. When you're raised to think one way, and this is how your parents think, or your teachers, or whoever's been significant in your life, but there's this nagging feeling inside of you that you should be doing something else. It's hard to do it when you've learned to not be that your whole life. But when you do my workshop and my training and spend time with other people just like you, that's where your permission comes from. And then if your family does the training as well, then they're like rooting you on, because now they get it. That's what happened to my family. They get that I'm orange. So when I'm traveling the world by myself or getting on a big stage, they're like, you go, Karen, instead of, who does she think she is?
Right.
Why is she being so show-offy? I'm not being show-offy. This is how I'm wired. Like, I'm wired to perform and to be on stage.
And it's so funny that we do that. Because I listened to this podcast where, she's just, she's getting too big for her boots.
Yeah.
This is what she says a lot. She says this, I mean, she's telling you it's not true, but it is something that flashes through your mind, right? Like,
yeah.
But I think that comes from you thinking that you aren't good enough.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually don't want to sing on the stage. So you go, Karen. You stick your little pants off.
That's it. Like, we are all very, very different. But what is your sweet spot? Where do you shine differently than where I shine, right? That's what I love about what I do, is helping people find where they shine and run for it.
And that can make such a difference to your life. I just saw the ticker go across the bottom. I'm like, yes, wellness. But this is a huge part of wellness, I find. I believe, because I don't think, I've said this in other podcasts and I said this morning, if you Google wellness, it's just going to show you all the before and after I lost 100-pound pictures. But it's not. That's not what wellness is. Wellness is being happy, being who you are, and being able to be whatever you're here for, right? Whatever philosophy you follow, there's a reason that you're taking this trip around the sun, and you won't be happy at the end if you didn't do it.
Right.
Right.
Completely.
What's that thing about the biggest regrets of the dying is not doing the things that they had wanted to do all this time?
Yeah. I don't want anybody to die with their dream inside of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, circumstances can interfere sometimes. I can think of all the reasons circumstances might interfere. But then I think about, and I guess because the Ukraine is so much on my mind, right? Like, there's people right there who aren't living their dream right now. But then I think about the people who still flourished while in concentration camps, who still had this person inside of them that knew who they were, like they were in a terrible situation, and I wouldn't wish you to find your dreams there in that particular location. But I think about like there are still people there who are like, no, this is who I am and this is what I need to do, and I'm still going to do it no matter where I am, no matter what my circumstances. And that's like, oh, then who, and this is one of the coaches I know, who am I to deny the world what I have to give them, whatever it is?
Right.
Like I'm being selfish.
My gift.
My gift is this, and need to make sure that I unwrap it and pass it on.
Well, I think we become our most powerful self when we know and believe and trust and are our authentic selves. That's where our power lies, so that during those tough times, well, everybody has tough times. That's life, right?
Yeah, it's all relative.
So, but just knowing who you are gives you power, gives you strength, gives you confidence to handle those tough times.
And you'll know in that time what you need to be able to go through it, right?
Yeah, it gives you direction.
Yeah.
It gives you direction. Like I personally know that I have arrived. I'm not looking for anything anymore. Like I've arrived. I know who I am. And I know what I want. And I think that's what we're all looking for, is that kind of clarity.
Right.
Makes everything else easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking of my journey of trying to, if I'd met you like 20 years ago, I might have made my journey a little faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we met when we were supposed to meet, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But as like navigating, the first thing is that awareness of like, oh crap, I'm in the wrong place. I have a coach friend, Nicole, who calls it, one day she realized she was sitting in a mud puddle. She's like, okay. Then the next thing she does is she goes, then I realized I could stand up. So it's like, but it actually, I will tell you, it took me 2 years from the time I realized I was in the wrong spot to actually taking the step out of the mud puddle.
Yes. Yes. Well, we all do this at our own speed. We all have our own processes for change. There's no right or wrong to it.
Not saying that it was wrong, but saying that I might not have taken as long if I'd had some awareness of which direction to go, like who I was.
Yes.
And if I had had support and help.
Yes.
Instead of the anti of all of that.
Right. Yes.
There's a reason I've been married 3 times.
Yes. Right. Yes.
You should be a dating guide.
Yes. I've thought about it. Trust me.
Oh my gosh, that would be
I've thought about it.
So valued.
I know people, men and women, so well. Yes, I've thought about it. Seriously.
I think of things like, what is it? Matchmaker? No, that's the podcasting. Yeah. Like there's all these dating sites that say they're going to pair you with your soulmate. But if your soulmate doesn't know themselves and you don't know yourself, are you actually going to, like, let's say that you won't, but because it happens all the time. But wouldn't it be easier if you understood each other? Like,
and that's it. I don't even want to pair people. I just want them to understand each other before jumping in or before jumping out, because people jump out without even understanding why there's conflict, and it's black and white in front of me.
Right.
Why this soft, caring person that cares about harmony and wants to express feelings is with this person that greens love with the biggest heart. And they're very intuitive, but they keep it on the inside. They don't express it on the outside so much or at all. And they don't care for small talk and to get into these discussions and go round and around. How many people do we know that are stuck in that?
Right.
And make sense of it all and show them where to bridge the gaps and help them understand where they're making each other wrong for just being who they are instead of making them right and working together. So
I see so many layers of things. It's like the inner design marriage counseling, the inner design dating service, the inner design family dynamic.
Right. It's true. There needs to be more.
I've got you already into a mega conglomerate.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, for a little while, I was blaming most divorces that I saw, because I know so many people who divorce at a specific age. I was blaming it on, like, they'll say, oh, it's the man's fault. It's his midlife crisis. No, both partners go through a change at a certain age. It's different for everybody. And if you can't, if they don't understand it, and the other person's not going to understand it, but I guess your inner person doesn't change, does it?
Well, no, except like oranges are very comfortable with change. Move, try this, try that. Others are not so comfortable with change. And it's just understanding why somebody's changing faster or more often, and somebody doesn't really want to. And we're all at different layers and levels of growth within ourselves to understand ourselves. And it's just accepting that too, right? Where somebody's at. And so, but they come into my workshop, and within an hour, everybody's like, oh my God, I get it. And I can explain it. I take problems and find solutions when it comes to people very quickly.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good. I am going to post in all of the comments and feeds and all that jazz, the links, all links for you.
Thank you.
All roads lead to Karen.
Thank you.
And if people want to reach out to you, like, they can send you an email? Because you don't, like you said, you don't have any workshops running right now, but
if enough people are interested, I can create one in a couple of weeks,
right?
in 3-4 weeks, the date, and it's 3.5 hours is the foundational training, and it's sitting on the edge of your seat. Holy cow, fun, amazing time with breakout rooms if we're on Zoom. And people just need to tell me what they want and need. Contact me, reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
And even like departments of organizations, because I know some people who listen work in corporate, and we need you people in corporate. Please don't leave corporate just because I left corporate.
Right.
Please stay there.
Corporate doesn't need new people. They just need to understand the people they've got. So I'm an organizational and culture consultant, and
that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Any parting wisdom for all of our friends out in the world?
Just be yourself, whatever that looks like, and make it right. Because I didn't for a long time. And you don't have to wait as long as I did to make who you are right. So call me and I can quickly explain that to you and help you get through that. But just be you. And I've enjoyed this very much, Heather.
I have enjoyed it too. And I'll just add on the end, it's true. Just spend like half an hour with Karen and you will know so much. Because I've done it. You will know so much more. You're like, oh my God, of course.
Yes. Yes.
My friend, thank you so much for spending time with me. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you.
I'll send you some little hearts.
Yes.
All right. For your blue side.
Heather's blue side, talking to my blue side. My orange is like, can we just go skydiving instead? But okay.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. And I will see you again soon.
See you soon. See you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Just give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, You can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.